it's gonna stink bad. If you have a weak stomach, this is not for you. Hey, what's up guys, Tobin here, 5M Family Homestead Channel. Today I'm gonna show y'all a very basic, very simple way to macerate a deer head. If you're somebody's just doing one for yourself, or a couple each year for yourself, and you're wanting to try maceration, this is the easiest way to do it. Well, one of the easiest ways to do it. You're not gonna be out more than 20-30 bucks in supplies, if that much, and you probably get the whole process done in a few weeks. So I'm gonna show y'all what I do, what I use, and then we're actually going to do it on my son's doe that he shot this year. Alright guys, this is the doe my son shot, and this is what we're gonna do. This is a fish tank heater. This one does have a temperature dial on it where it moves up and down. I got that off of Amazon. I'll try to put a link in the description, but I didn't pay more than 12-15 bucks for it. We're gonna put water in this bucket, nothing else. No salt, no soap, no chemicals, no nothing, just water. We're gonna put the lid on it. We're gonna put this fish tank heater in it, and we're gonna just let nature take its course. If you have time and you don't want to spend money for a fish tank heater, it is not necessary. You can put that head in water, just leave it alone, and it will eventually rot off. If you're wanting to speed up the process, the fish tank heater is definitely a cheap way to do that. Also, this bucket, you could put insulation around it, put it in somewhere where it's like a heated room or something. I don't know where you'd want to put it because it's going to stink, but those would also accelerate the process. You can do you could macerate a head in 4 or 5 days if you have the right temperature to do so. Got the fish tank heater down there in the bottom. I plugged it in before to test it, make sure it's still working. It is. Got the lid right here. Not super concerned with the lid being real tight. That should work just fine. And then I'll plug her in. I probably didn't stress this enough in the beginning. Maceration is, I didn't go over this, I didn't stress enough how bad it's gonna stink. It's gonna stink bad, and that's an understatement. My wife's over here behind me laughing because you cannot describe how bad it's gonna stink. If you have a weak stomach, this is not for you, so just remember that. Let me explain some things, hopefully answer some questions. I put the lid on the bucket strictly to help hold heat in. That's the only reason why. You don't have to have a lid on it. No chemicals in the water, nothing, just water. So bacteria basically eats away at the flesh and removes it. It also, I don't know how it works, but it also draws a lot of the fat out of the bone, which makes degreasing easier. What I'm gonna do is, this video will pause right now and we'll pick back up about 2 to 3 weeks from now when we take it out. And at that point, I will take it out. I will show y'all how to clean it up, then show you how I degrease them. Hey, what's up guys? So it has been, I didn't mark the calendar, but I think it's 2 weeks to the day that we put this skull in there. It's been out in the shed where you saw me put it. It's been pretty average temperature for January in Texas. I'm just saying that to tell you that this shed's not insulated anyway. So, you know, the outside temperature being, when it gets down real cold, is definitely working against that. If I were to insulate that bucket better, or put it inside a temperature controlled room, it probably would have sped up the process. But we're gonna take a look at it and see if it's ready or not. I got my trusty forceps. If you don't have these, get them. I have a video on my channel, 5 tools that you need for doing skull mounts, and this is one of them. I use these things for everything. Can't have enough of them. I'm gonna set the camera up here. We're gonna pull it out real quick, see what it looks like. Smells good. My kids call that scab water because it looks like scabs on top of there. Poke around in here and see where it's at. There's a nose. Oh, that looks clean. There we go. So all this meat right in here is all pretty loose and will come off. I know that from experience. You can pick it off with a pair of forceps or a pair of pliers or something. It'll come off pretty easy. As you can see, it's all intact. The teeth are there. I would say that this head is ready to take out of here. All right, guys, came back here in the shop. So that head, in my opinion, is ready to be taken out. Like I said, all that meat on the back of the skull, 95% of it is loose and will just pull off. I use a pair of forceps or a pair of needle nose pliers and just rip all that off there. It's pretty nasty, but it gets it off. Then after that, we'll be putting in a round or two of degreasing, and then it'll be ready to whiten. So I'm in the shop working today. Just thought about checking on that. Wanted to update y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get to that today. So what I did was I just took the heat off of it, and that skull can sit in that bucket for another couple months and probably wouldn't hurt anything. I've got some other skulls I'm macerating too, and when I'm gonna get all nasty and stinky like that, I like to do as many as possible. I'll probably wait till those other ones are ready to go and then do them all at one time. So the next time you see me, we'll be getting all that nastiness off the back of that skull and then going into the degreaser with it. So y'all stay tuned. It's been a couple more weeks maybe since you last saw me. You'll notice I'm wearing the same shirt. I have very few clothes that I actually do taxidermy work in. I tend to wear them over and over and over again because I don't like wearing my new clothes and getting them stinking or getting peroxide on them and stuff. So the doe, I spared y'all of having to watch me dump the nastiness out of the bucket, pull the head out, use pliers to get the remaining tissue on the back of the skull that was kind of hanging on. I did all that, just finished it up. I had a few other heads I had to work on at the same time. Couple things to think about. First, when you're macerating that head, I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning. Try to place it in a way where the teeth won't fall out of it. The teeth are going to get loose and fall out to some degree, but I want to control that myself. I want to minimize how much they fall into the bucket on their own, because they can get attached to chunks of meat, and then when you go to dump the bucket out, you lose a tooth because it's attached to that chunk of meat and you don't see it. So there will be big chunks of meat, depending on how well you skin it in the beginning. There may be giant chunks of meat coming off that thing that are nasty. I try to always place the skulls in a way that the teeth will not fall out or are less likely to fall out, and in that way, when I take it out, then one of the first things I do is I count the teeth, and if they're all there, that's good. And at that point, I will go through with a pair of pliers. I have 2 pairs of gloves on, so that I just minimize the stink on my hands and hopefully not scratching or cutting my hand and getting that on me. And I'll go through tooth by tooth and pull them out, the ones that are loose, and put them in a little bucket or somewhere off to the side. And that way I control when they come out, and I can count them and make sure. Now, if you do this and you pull the skull out and you go and look and see that there are teeth missing, you don't want to dump the water out in a place that you can't get back to it. A couple other things to think about. Don't dump it where your dogs can get into it. Trust me from experience. They will find it, they will roll in it, and it is not fun. Don't dump it upwind from your house. I know from experience. You're gonna smell it. The smell goes away pretty quick, especially if you dump it straight on the ground, but it's gonna stink for a day or two. I've heard stories of guys who have been handling skulls that are starting to rot and have gotten through a little paper cut or a little just even like where your skin's cracking from being dry, have gotten blood infections. So I take it very seriously. I try not to splash any water where it can get my eyes or my face, my mouth. I try to wear 1 or 2 pairs of gloves. Sometimes I'll wear a pair of dish gloves, but those normally you can get one use out of them, and they have that smell in them, and it will get on your hands the next time. So now what I do is just mainly put on 2 pairs of just rubber gloves to prevent hopefully getting anything on me. So let me take y'all out here, show you what the skull looks like, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so this is my little pad behind my shop. As you can see, I got a pig in here that I worked on There's a coyote right there that I macerated. There's ammonia and Fabuloso in that jug right there, that spray bottle right there. That for me helps with the smell a lot, and I just kind of keep cleaning things as I go. Basically what I did was, this is where I did all the work at. I just kind of picked all the leftover nastiness off. You can see there's a lot remaining here, and I double bagged that. That will go into my freezer and get frozen, then in the trash can. And this is the skull. That skull is more than 99% clean. You'll notice I did knock the earbuds out. Now when I boil skulls, I'll actually drill this part out here. It's not necessary when you macerate them, but I just take a screwdriver or a pair of pliers and just pop them out of there. There's no, in my opinion, there's no need for them to be there, and it's just a place for a little bit of meat and stuff to hide. You can tell the nasal cavity is super clean. You can see all the way through it. All the teeth are intact. Okay, y'all, so here's my plan. So as you can tell from this video, and maybe a few of my other videos, a lot of the things I do with skulls, I do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. This is a part-time gig for me. I don't do this 9 to 5 or anything like that. I have a full-time job and a very busy schedule. We just got back from a 2-day weekend out of town with my son playing select baseball at a travel tournament we had to go to, and we just got in. I called in sick to work today because I was so tired. Got up, slept in, got up, came out here, wanted to piddle with these skulls a little bit, and I'm kind of at a point where I don't want to go much farther today, so I'm gonna kind of hit pause and then come back tomorrow. Well, as much as possible for the sake of efficiency, I try to, if I'm gonna simmer skulls or boil them, I try to do multiple ones at one time, and so that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So I'm rambling. Let me get back on point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that skull, I'm gonna put it in some fresh water. I've rinsed it off, washed it off as best I can. As a general rule, I do not let skulls dry out. From the time I skin it until the time it's finished, I don't ever let it dry out or sit outside of water. Tomorrow, I'm gonna start simmering it / boiling it. And we're gonna leave it in there for an hour or two to help degrease it. There are ways to more thoroughly degrease it. This is for my son's first deer, and this method is more than sufficient. It's gonna be a trophy that he can hang on the wall until he is grown, and that will last with him and be something he'll be proud of. And so that's how we're gonna do it. So we will see y'all tomorrow. Okay guys, it's the next day. My beautiful wife was gracious enough to start this head going for me this afternoon. It is simmered in water and clear ivory soap this is what I use right here for everything I degrease. That's all I use. I've tried every kind of soap out there, OxyClean, all that. And by far that is my preferred soap to use to degrease. She put it in water with probably a quarter to a half a bottle of that ivory soap, along with another head. I got a coyote head I'm working on. I don't mind mixing skulls, especially different species, because if I lose teeth, they're easy to know where they go. So she put it in there with that coyote and brought it to a boil, then kept it at a simmer, somewhere between a simmer and a boil, and it's been in there for about 3 hours now. When I got home from work, I killed the heat completely and just let it kind of cool down. And now I'm gonna take it out, hit it real lightly with the power washer, real carefully, and then get ready to whiten it. All right, y'all, so here is the pot. There's a lot of nastiness up on top of there. See all that fat that came out of there? As you can tell, this skull is completely cleaned of everything that could be on it. Nose is still intact, so it's time to whiten it. This is what I use to whiten with. If you can get that to focus. That is 20 volume clear liquid developer. I use that pretty much straight. If I put it in a pot and I need to top the pot off a little bit with water, I'll do that, but pretty much straight. I heat it up to boiling point, kill the heat, and let the skull set, checking it every few minutes, and it'll usually stand there 5, 10, 15 minutes, and it's ready to come out. So I've got something in the pot whitening right now. I'm gonna pull that out here in a second, and then we're gonna put this skull in there. Okay, time to whiten. That's my pot back there. As you can tell, like I said earlier, I'm working on it's a nail guy right there. I should have made a video on it, but I didn't. So I was already whitening that nail guy in there, so that's why you can see it's already kind of foamed up and everything. That peroxide is hot. It's not to the boiling point yet, but it's already warm. So if you're doing this when you're putting the skull into cold peroxide, just crank the fire up as high as it'll go. Get it to a boil, watch it, don't leave it. On younger animals like a doe or like a forkhorn or a spike or something like that, on younger animals, the peroxide can damage it. So you just need to be there. Don't leave it. Don't forget about it. You need to be there checking it regularly. Like I said earlier, when it hits a boil, shut it off, and I'll be pulling it out of there every few minutes to check it. Teeth can fall out. The nose bones can fall out. That's all normal, but you just need to be aware of it and be looking for that to happen. And if you lose a tooth, look through the peroxide, strain it out. I got strainers. I keep tons of them around to strain it out to get the teeth out of there. So don't worry if that happens. What you want to look for is if you start seeing delamination or flaking of the bone. If that starts to happen, it's time to stop. You're about at the point of being too far with it. All right, y'all. That is the whitened skull. Still, the nasal got a little damaged. That doesn't hurt my feelings, doesn't bother me. Some people it bothers. I don't care. All the teeth stayed in. The nose bones stayed intact. And this is a completely 100% clean skull. I will let this skull sit here in front of this little fan overnight and let it dry that way. But tomorrow I will have my wife, if the sun is shining, I'll have her put this out in the sun, and it will make it even whiter. And it will continue to get whiter as it dries. As it has been with this whole video, I will finish this up tomorrow, put it out in the sun, let it dry, and tomorrow we'll close the video out and show you the finished product. My son picked right there, that plaque right there. He wants it on, so we'll mount it on that plaque. Well, as y'all can tell, that skull is white as can be. Putting the skull in that heated liquid peroxide removes any smell from it at all. It has a smell, but it's not a bad smell at all. It smells clean. It smells kind of like I don't know, like clean laundry or something. But as you can tell, the teeth are rattling a little bit. But I would recommend if you're in doubt at all, especially if you're sending it home to a customer, I'd glue anything that moves. I don't want anything moving. Sometimes these bones back in here on the back side of the head will get loose. On a buck especially, this little seam right here can get loose, and you can grab the horns and it'll move. I'll glue it. I don't want a customer thinking that it won't cause a problem, but I don't want a customer to think that it might be a problem. Like I said, for the most part, the nasal's intact. I probably could have gone a little gentler, a little softer on that, and saved that a little bit more, but I don't I don't worry about that. There's a lot of people that do, that are very much don't like to damage that. It doesn't bother me. The heads that we boil, I pull all that out. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped y'all. This is an easy way for a do-it-yourself or something like that to get a skull done. Well, guys, as y'all can see, I got it mounted on a plaque. It's a cedar plaque. I buy all my plaques from a place in they're out of Wichita Falls, Texas. It's called the Taxidermist Wood Shop, and they mainly specialize in plaques and pedestals and stuff for skull mounts. I give them a lot of shout outs and send them a lot of business, but I don't get anything for it other than just recommending people to a good product. They have some cheaper plaques, but they have the like this plaque here is a cedar plaque, and it's a solid wood. They're really good quality, free shipping. If you order during deer season, I've ordered, I would guess, over $10,000 worth of plaques from them this year. And if you order in big bulks, they give you a significant discount also. So y'all look them up. I'll try to put a link in the description if I remember. There's another one on that wall back over there as well. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helps y'all. Do me a favor, leave in the comments, let me know some suggestions on other videos y'all would like to see. I've got a few in the works. I did one on some tools for doing skull mounts. I did a video on my thoughts about maceration versus beetles versus boiling. I'm thinking about doing one just kind of on the business aspect of it, kind of what, things you need to think about. That's one I'm working on. I've got a video I'm doing on a deadhead right now as well. But anything y'all like to see, leave in the comments. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. The information. I like doing these videos for y'all, but sometimes it's hard to come up with a topic or something to do. So I'd love to hear your input. But like I said, guys, if y'all haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and we'll see y'all again. Thanks for watching.